Godzilla vs. Kong, the next highly anticipated blockbuster showdown between two powerhouse pop culture icons, is almost here. Recently, there has been yet another adjustment to the premiere. However, this newest update will only affect the North American release. While the film will proceed with launching internationally where HBO Max is not available on March 26, 2021, the domestic release will now debut March 31st, simultaneously in theaters and on the HBO Max streaming service. In regards to their 2021 film slated for streaming, Warner Brothers has stated that the movies and release dates are subject to change, so keep that in mind. With the recent debut of the first official trailer for Godzilla vs. Kong, we have more to speculate on regarding what might be in store for us in the newest MonsterVerse installment, as well as who might come out on top in this epic clash. This, of course, is not the first time these two powerful forces of nature have come to blows on screen. So in this video, I'd like to talk about what all we know about the first film that featured these two duking it out, and what this, as well as the comments from those involved in the production of the new film, could tell us about who might end up winning this battle of the ages. Spoiler warning, as I'll now be talking about the original monster film, its final outcome, as well as speculate what this might tell us about the potential result of this newest confrontation. The original Japanese film King Kong vs. Godzilla, produced by Toho Studios, first debuted in 1962 with great commercial success. In regards to whether the new film by Legendary and Warner Brothers is a straight remake of this original kaiju movie, producer Alex Garcia also stated early on in the new film's production that the idea for Godzilla vs. Kong was not to remake the original film. The human organizations and events surrounding and leading up to the ultimate confrontation between Kong and Godzilla will of course continue with the storyline laid out in the previous installments of the 2014 Godzilla reboot, Kong Skull Island, and Godzilla King of the Monsters. It was also important for the writers to create a story where the motivations for the conflict between these two behemoths did not feel contrived. So the real question is, will the battle itself end up being a remake of the original King Kong vs. Godzilla? In the original 1962 film, the first time the two monsters meet, Kong ends up retreating after taking a severe hit from Godzilla's atomic heat ray. After Kong regains his strength, the final confrontation sees the two duking it out until they both end up falling off a cliff together and into the ocean. After a brief underwater fight sequence, only Kong emerges from the water, seemingly the victor. Godzilla is nowhere to be found, but there is some speculation among the characters in the film that he could have survived. This ending proved to be a bit controversial among the fanbase, as it is not clear who ultimately won the showdown. Even though Kong ended up walking away from the fight, Godzilla is a survivor and has a habit of returning from almost certain death. So while this film is certainly a remake of the idea of a showdown between the two titans, the director and writers for this new film wanted to clearly establish who is truly king of the monsters, and as is stated on the recently released poster, one will fall. Director of Godzilla vs. Kong, Adam Wingard, stated in an interview with Entertainment Weekly before filming was even set to begin that he thought the original film's ending was a bit of a letdown. He said, quote, "I do want there to be a winner. The original film was very fun, but you feel a little let down that the movie doesn't take a definitive stance. People are still debating now who won in that original movie. So I do want people to walk away from this film feeling like, okay, there is a winner." From the promotional material so far, we may have clues as to who the winner will be. On paper, it may seem like Kong is the underdog, but from the trailer he appears to more than hold his own against the legendary Godzilla. From the trailer, I even got the impression that the filmmakers were trying to frame Godzilla as the underdog, but this could simply be a way to throw us off the trail. And this would seem to contradict co-screenwriter Michael Dougherty's comments regarding the film. The writer and director for the previous entry, Godzilla King of the Monsters, in an interview with Bloody Disgusting back in May of 2019, commented that if you really take the time to look at Kong as a character, in Skull Island he was an adolescent, so he was still growing, so who knows how big he is since the 1970s when they first met him. Doherty continued to explain, Kong is extremely intelligent. As a primate, he's a tool user, so he's got speed, he's got agility, he might have some good size. And I like a good underdog battle. It's like watching Rocky go up against Ivan Drago. It seems like it's unfair, but clearly this means the underdog might have a few surprises. Kong definitely did some growing, as he seems pretty much equal in size to Godzilla in the trailer footage. While I personally am rooting for Godzilla, it seems Kong might be the one to be declared victor, and with no lingering doubt. My reason for suspecting this outcome is mostly because Kong is simply referred to as Kong, not King Kong. During the course of the film, it may make the most sense narratively for the title to pass to him from Godzilla. And considering King Kong did walk away from the original confrontation in the 1962 film, they might want to follow that same outcome, just this time make sure the victor is clear and definitive. There will most likely be other antagonist monsters introduced in this new film. As Godzilla is hailed as Earth's protector, there must be a reason for his hostile behavior. So regardless of who ultimately walks away from the struggle between these two, it would also be awesome to see them portrayed as the true protagonists they are as they team up against a terrible threat. This approach might not ultimately sit well with many viewers, as it would be a very similar occurrence to what happened in Batman vs Superman and several of the Marvel movies. But I think that because these two are so beloved as protective heroes, it would make more sense here to follow the familiar narrative of two foes joining together to defeat a greater enemy. Also, the line, "one will fall," doesn't necessarily mean that one will be killed. I think it's likely that we will see Kong defeat Godzilla, leaving him weak and vulnerable. However, given the fact that Godzilla has extremely advanced and highly efficient regenerative abilities, I could easily see him suffering a definitive defeat at the hands of Kong, only to regenerate and return to fight alongside his former foe. In the post-credits scene for King of the Monsters, a group of eco-terrorists is seen acquiring Ghidorah's severed left head in Mexico. So if there were to be a third force which would bring Godzilla and Kong together, I would say that it seems that Ghidorah, or perhaps Mecha Ghidorah, could be the most likely foe. In other news that may or may not be related to the outcome of this battle, Deadline reports that a new Netflix anime series is now being developed centered around Kong and will be set on Skull Island. The show will continue the stories of Legendary's previous MonsterVerse films, following a group of shipwrecked characters as they struggle to survive and escape from the infamous island where Kong resides. Brian Duffield, writer for the films Underwater and The Babysitter, will write and executive produce the anime series alongside Jacob Robinson, who will serve as executive producer under his company Tractor Pants. The animation studio behind the series is Powerhouse Animation, which is the same studio behind Castlevania and Blood of Zeus. A question I have is whether this will be a show that follows Kong's journey to ultimately being known as king after being defeated by Godzilla, or will we see him dethrone the current king of the monsters in this film, with the series expanding on his reign? Taking all this information into account, my final thoughts on the matter regarding who will claim victory in this epic confrontation, I have to say that while my mind tells me Kong will likely be the winner, my heart says Godzilla. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe for more sci-fi and fantasy news and lore. And let me know your thoughts on Godzilla vs. Kong and who you think will win this battle of the ages. Thank you all so much for your support, and as always, have a very nerdy day.